Hey there, I'm going to do a quick side-by-side view of what Google Sheets and Airtable will look like and how the two compare. So I have the same participant tracker, same program tracking spreadsheet on two different things, but to show you what the capabilities of each are and why it's great to have a tool that does multiple things instead of just one thing because the learning curve is just there. It's a learning curve, but once you learn it and you're able to implement it, it serves you and not the other way around. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to show you what that's supposed to look like, and we'll go from there. So in terms of Google Sheets, because then I've heard some folks say that they use Google Spreadsheets to track all their stuff. So we have a program tracking on Google Sheets and Airtable. That's what we're using today. So it has participant name and everything. So this does not look fancy because this is a dummy account. So there's no color upgrades or whatever, but it's the same thing, right? So we have participant name, contact info, program name, and just like in Google Sheets, it has the drop down for some of the things, right? Completion status and stuff like that. Assign staff member. Once you have people on your Airtable, you can just assign them here. But there's a caveat, or there's an additional feature that you can do on Airtable that you can't do on Google Sheets. And that's what I want to show you. So let's say participant name, I'm going to put Jane Doe, right? Contact info, call me, just put the email, abc@123.com, right? The program name, that person, Jane, is part of program one. And enrollment date, it's supposed to be today, but 0708. She is still in the program. Notes, no notes. And then usually for notes, it's grade two initial. If you're putting notes, progress update. As of 7/7/25, Jane started the program one. So what it is, and then always initial, that's also important, right? So that's what I would put here. Now, in terms of this one, same thing, Jane Doe, right? Contact info, but my email gonna show you what is when you have the person's email here. So she's part of program one, enrollment date 7/8, completion status, she's still in the program. Note, no note. Assigned staff, it's going to be progress up to Jane Doe started on 7/7. I'm going to put the year as well. And then initial. Participant feedback, that we don't have. Don't need this. So we have that in Airtable that you can't do on Google Sheet automations. So at scheduled time every week, every 1 week, I'm actually gonna change this and put every 3 days. 3 days, I want to receive fine every at working since 5, so I'm gonna put 8 o'clock, right? So you can test the trigger if that's something, right? And it send me an email. Now for the email, I'm gonna put what email I wanted to send it to, stacyvolc.com. I wanted to send me that email. It says multiple emails, but you wanted to send that email to, let's say you wanted to also send you a copy of this email, info@stacyvolc.com, right? So you have this information here. The subject will be update progress on participants for program. And then you're gonna say, hey, XYZ, please send in progress. Let me put progress here. In progress for participants, programs by 5 p.m. today. There we go. Progress notes, update the progress notes. That's it. 5 p.m. today, and you put your signature. Then with this, you generate a preview, right? So you can see what it's going to look like. It says there's a testing error. So you have to see what that is. It says cannot email non-collaborators on. So if that email is not a collaborator, all you have to do is remove it. Now, in my case, let me see, configuration, I just have to remove this one because I didn't put this. But everybody that will be a collaborator, add them to your board. And then I'm going to test one more time. And I think it's good now. So share. It says only have access. Only I again. All right, so we're good to go. So the email, it will send it to Stacy@stacyvulsey.com. Hey, I would put it doesn't show the user. I think it's because it's not public yet. Please update the progress notes for participants programs by 5 p.m. today. So they will receive an email update every 3 days. So that is what you can do for automation. Really good to have. You have unpublished changes that haven't been applied. So I'm going to update here. And this automation is already, it's on. So the automation is on. So we're good to go on this automation, and you can toggle it on and off here or create new automations based on what you need, right? Now, I created another table that you cannot do here. You would have to create a Google form and a way to track this here. So participant feedback. Now for this, I would prefer putting that it is an email, right? I'm gonna put email address because I think this is so let's put email because you're gonna see me do this in real time. Cancel, that's not what I'm looking for. Edit field, single line text, date, email. Let's do this. It's going to be an E. The reason I do that is I'm going to show you a feedback form that I created. So let's say program one is supposed to be a 5-month program, right? And the participant feedback form, the form is here, but you can also create a form that links to that. So you don't have to enter the data manually for the form for the feedback, but you can send the feedback form to individuals. So what you have here, they enter their own name, the program they participated in, the date of their feedback, the rating, so whatever you want on the feedback form. And you can actually copy the link of the form. You put anyone on the web, right? Copy. Now, why I did this is because I want to show you how to do an automation for this. So the way I would do this is I would create an automation for it to send an email to the email address that's on here, right? So I want dependencies on here. So a new automation, create an automation, right? And I'm gonna button this click. So when record matches that we want participant tracker, do this together. When participant name, no. Enrollment date is, or I would say 45 days. The condition and participant and completion status is completed. We want them to be done. Actually, no more conditions. So when it's 40 from the enrollment date and they completed the program or whatever long it takes them program, we want to send them an email. We want to send form, right? Now we are going to separate multiple. It's going to go to our Airtable record ID email address, go to the email address for this particular person, and the subject, thank you, or would love your about, and then whatever program is then program name. And then you type the email, and well, you put the participant name. And hey, participant name. Thank you for being part of, and then the name of the program to get your feed that you want. You write the message, and then what happens is that you can actually insert all these things here. But in this case, to insert the link form. So you can insert the link of the form or whatever whenever you're done with this automation because you have to type in the email. And you run tests to see no records match this trigger. Generate preview. We don't need the preview because it's already working. So I'm going to make sure I turn this on and we're good for you wanted to send the automation. So what happens is that as people go through this program, they're going to get the feedback form and it's going to start populating this for you. I am going to purposely fill out a form so you can see what that looks like. So Jane Doe, program I participated in, data feedback, great to use, yes, submit. Now, what's going to happen here is this information's already entered here. So let me delete the empty ones. How do I delete this again? I'm going to move Jando to the top. Already entered. So when you send the form out, people, participant feedback is going to populate for you. So you don't have to worry about that. And that's something you cannot do with this. Happens here also in the participant feedback. What I did is that I added this column as well, right? So follow-up needed. One thing I would say is to always put yes and put an owner for this, somebody on your team that will default option, whoever the user, like whenever this is, because the other thing I would do, I was default check it, because then you want somebody to always follow up and reach out to this individual. And the last thing I did not, if you know that the person, their contact information is already here, right? Use this because this gives you so many abilities. So I'm going to leave this here. One thing you can do is reach out to me if you have any questions or would like to work with me in your VIP operations intensive for me to put together systems that work for your organization and that enable you to put systems in place for your organization. But that's it. That's a comparison between our Airtable and Google Sheets. And I'm going to go now, but let me know if you have any questions in the comments.